So, midlifing listeners, there's some sad news to share with you. At the point of us recording this, it's a week since one of our good friends and faithful listeners, Uber.
OGs. Original,
Uber faithful.
yeah.
What was UFL standing for? I've forgotten now. Was it
Ultra?
Ultra? Anyway.
Uber. No, I don't know.
But one of our faithful listeners, Mandy, sadly died. It came as shock to everybody who knew her. We've spoken to Sue about us dedicating this episode to her, because, I mean, in lots of ways, Mandy and Sue have informed the conversations that we've had. Explicitly by asking us direct questions, and then just through gentle interruptions via emails and text and comments on Instagram.
Shaping the conversations.
There we go. And so this episode is dedicated to Mandy, and also sending all our love out to Sue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
These are two people I've never met. Of course, that's the slightly weird thing of it all.
It is the slightly weird thing of it all. And what's even weirder is I think you might have met them very briefly when you were at Northampton.
Really?
Yeah, because they both worked there. And they may have seen you in passing. And that's how I met them. I met them through work. But like often these situations, colleagues become... Froligs become friends. I'm so sorry about that transitional word, because that is horrible.
Also, what was good about that was that you were cutting out for me, so all I got was that from and that's how transitions work.
There's a comic from the 1970s and 80s called Norman Collier, who that was his entire act, was just to pretend that his microphone wasn't working. Anyway.
No, that just calls to mind I'm covering my hands in front of a microphone, which is never good mic action. But also just to mention about Mandy and Sue, just sending all my love to you, Sue, and your family and friends and those around you, and I hope and I'm sure you're getting lots of support. I just wanted to also say that Mandy and Sue were responsible for sending us midlifing mugs as well, which was hilarious the day when this thing turned up at my home, which I still have, and I roll out every now and again just to shock people at work.
They are the instigators of the only merch that this podcast will ever generate. And it's not really merch because it's just for us. Let's think of it as the prototype merch.
Yes, and I'm just glad that I didn't have to pay for it.
They've set us on the road to lawyer money. Anyway,
that was just the
So
I don't know how much we can make the content, the theme of this week's episode appropriate for. But it seems like the madder and sillier it is, maybe the better.
I mean, yeah, but yes. I think, you know what we should do in time-honoured midlifing style? We should just transition awkwardly to the opening theme tune.
This is a podcast in which two friends talk about the pleasures, absurdities, and imperfections of being human. I'm Simon Ellis.
And I'm Lee Miller. Welcome to Midlifing.
I'm just leaving a space there for you.
Because I need a space to put the theme tune in.
Yeah, wait on.
You can sing it in your head.
Yeah.
Okay. So Simon.
So it does remind me that who was that comic?
Norman Collier.
Yeah, because we had the person who was the head of the School of Physical Education when I was there at Otago University, an extraordinary human being called Les Williams, but also terrificante. I mean, terrifying. And he was this one person in my education. He was the person in my education who pushed me so hard that I started to recognize that I could do stuff, meaning that I was capable.
Yeah.
And so this is, I was 22, I guess, 23, 24. So, early 20s and an unremarkable high school career, that's for sure. And he really was, he drove us hard. He was also partially deaf. And the point of the story is that it's a terrible story about a member of the class who did that to him, who asked a question. Yeah, and thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And I suspect I thought it was pretty damn funny too at the time, which just goes to show, shame. But yeah, it was. I keep on trying to get in touch with him, and partly to thank him, just to go, you know what, you really did. You opened my eyes.
It would be nice to be able to pass that message on to somebody who did that, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it?
We don't take enough time to thank people, do we?
Oh, I try. I have to say, it's so weird, isn't it? It's because it's so easy.
It takes nothing, does it? And as my mum used to say, manners maketh the man. But it doesn't. I was talking to my mum this morning.
Hey, did your mum say that?
Yeah, manners maketh the man.
Manners
Maketh the man. I don't know why I'm making her sound way more Mancunian than she is, because that is not how my mum sounds. She sounds. There's a little tinge of the northeast in her voice, which I can't do. I can't really replicate my mum's voice. I can do my dad, because I just have to do that. I got a birthday phone call from them on my birthday. At the beginning of the day, which is part of the course, and it always starts in the same way, which is I answer the telephone and they start to sing. They don't say hello or anything; they just start to sing. And then there was a conversation mostly about how my dad was not going to buy an electric vehicle because the infrastructure doesn't exist to support it. And I was like, Dad, you've got a garage. You're fine. Just stick it in there. He's like, what if I'm, and he was basing his resistance to electrical vehicles on the lack of infrastructure in the UK, a place that he hasn't been to since 2014. So I didn't want to point out the massive flaws in his argument. But as Bob said from another room, his argument is very coherent, if slightly odd.
I love a slightly odd, coherent argument. Wait, I just back up. They haven't been to the UK since 2014.
No, they haven't. Hang about 2014. Right, that's right. 2014, they came over to visit us, and they stayed with us for 2 weeks. But when I say they stayed with us for 2 weeks, what that actually means is they left their bags in our spare room and then went on a grand tour around the UK. And I didn't know at the time, but I think they knew that this was their...
It was their last hurrah.
Yeah, exactly. They were just going to say... It was their farewell tour, saying goodbye to people, because they had no real intention of coming back. And I hadn't fully twigged that they had no real intention of even coming back for a little while. My dad did do a quick, 24-hour flyby to go to the funeral of his friend, John. But then when his...
Yeah, and you're not counting that.
I'm not counting that because it was so short. And then when his brother died, he just said, well, you go up to that. It's like, will I go up to my uncle's funeral?
Oh, you were his proxy.
Went, you can be my representative here on Earth. So I was that. I was his representative
here on Earth.
And I was like, I was the Pope to my dad's God.
Yeah. You're the terrestrial. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Sometimes he just rolls me out as the terrestrial version of him, which I quite like. So 2014 was the last time they were both here. But that's he's basing. I found it hilarious that he was so resistant to an electrical vehicle, mostly because I was telling him all about the Go Wee, and also his car needed a new clutch and it cost him $2,000 and he was quite cross.
The Go Wee's been big in your life, hasn't it?
It's been a lot of fun. And then my mum clearly sensed that there was like a level of tension in the conversation, and she segued from a conversation about EVs to a second song. So more Happy Birthday. That was how we finished the conversation. She just said, "Come on, Norman, let's sing again."
Another version.
It wasn't another version. It was just repeated. And then, and this was, I think, probably the high point for me. At the end of the day, it was probably about 7 or 8 o'clock. I got a phone call. They're never phone calls. You know, they're either Skype calls or WhatsApp videos because they have embraced video calling fully.
Excellent.
And I got this was a WhatsApp video message, video call, and my dad went, all right, are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? I went, yes, I'm listening. I've answered the phone. And he switched the camera around and panned it around a table full of his friends because he was out. He went, come on, everybody. And they all sang Happy Birthday to me. So there's about 12 people around a random table in Portugal singing Happy Birthday.
Was that a Portuguese version?
There was a smattering of English and a smattering of Portuguese. I could hear both. And lots of parabéns, parabéns.
Which means...
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I like that... hang on, wait. There was something about your mother sensing some tension in the conversation.
Yes.
You mean there's clearly something going on for Norman about electrical vehicles in general?
Yeah, I asked Bob what she thought that was.
He's got a bee in his bonnet about EVs.
And I asked Bob what she thought that was about because nobody's making him buy an electrical vehicle. And I said, what do you think that's about, Bob? And she said, I think
eco-guilt.
No, God, no. My dad's not got any eco-guilt. He's got, if he's lucky, he's got 10 years left. He's not really bothered about the planet burning, is he? He's got no grandkids that
he's already done his bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think what it is that he's always been an early adopter of technologies in lots of ways. And I think he'd really quite like one. But I think there's a level of anxiety about just how radically different the driving experience would be. And at 82, I think he's a touch nervous. And I don't think he wants to communicate that he's nervous about what that might do because he knows how the internal combustion engine works in terms of how you drive it. Because there is.
It's basically, he feels about EVs the way I feel about TikTok, basically.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, we were talking about thanking people. And then the wheels came off, and we were saying it doesn't take much, does it? But it seems to be hard, even though it's easy. What's that about?
I don't know. When I write articles, academic articles, I write to all the people I've cited and thank them for their work.
That's lovely.
Did you know I did that?
I did not know that, which means that you've never cited me. Fuck you. Tell me. Oh, wow. I've never felt more underappreciated. Oh, well, I guess I'll just have to...
Professor underappreciated.
I was going to say, I guess I'll just have to carry on being Professor of Performance, Head of Postgraduate Research, and the Centre Lead for the Centre of Blended Realities. That's a new title I got recently. Boom.
Oh, fuck you.
I know, it's horrible, isn't it? Don't you hate to see people succeed?
No. Just I hate seeing you succeeding. It's not people
in general.
Let's be clear. You. I love seeing people succeed.
But not you.
It's just you because we are in an unspoken competition. We are in with no rules.
Well, you know that you're going to win because your trousers last longer than mine. They last 100 years.
At least I'll still have trousers while our competition is going on. You know that a competition, by definition, means that there needs to be rules, and both parties, both teams, or both people, or all the people involved need to know that they're in a competition. It's not possible to have a competition if someone happens to not know that they're even in it. I know that sounds odd.
Like me,
but if I were competing with you and you weren't competing with me, we wouldn't be in competition.
Okay, right. So we're not in competition then, because I'm not competing with you, because you are the OG screen dance man. How could I compete with that? I mean, that's not even meant with any kind of irony or sarcasm. It's genuine.
Yeah, but you're an OG practice research person.
Not going to lie, that's
you're an OG story. Back when it was called about 3 different things before what it's called now.
Yeah, which and what it's called now still doesn't really work. But let's move on.
So thanking, yeah. So it's really no. I love the way people respond to it. It's really, but it is also because I actually take that quite seriously. That it's not like any of them have agreed to be cited.
Yeah, and actually, you could be, whilst not using them out of context, you could certainly be putting them alongside of things that they're not necessarily signed off on.
Yeah, exactly. And I often I'll say that. I shan't say that in the text anyway, but I'll in the email as well. But yeah, but I mean that's a sort of a professional thing. But it's strange. You're right. It's really odd how. I think this is something that I always think of when I think of thanking. I think of Bob quite a lot because she has this very particular way of a very genuine way of saying thank you. It's very direct and it's quite unusual.
We were talking about her thanking people yesterday because she was saying, I haven't thanked people for a particular thing yet because I'm not sure if I should do it at this point or at this point. And there was quite a long conversation about when you say thank you. I
think I might have been the recipient of one of those thanks.
I think you might have been the recipient of one of those thanks.
And it is a little premature because I haven't done the thing yet that she was thanking me for.
Yes, and that was her anxiety, that she was thanking people in advance. And I said, you have, this, just to take this out of the massively abstract, it's about references and
yes.
For a job that Bob has secured. It was one of those things where I think you thank people at the point at which you know that it's all going ahead, not when you've got the paperwork done, because the paperwork is something else. So that was... Because I was in a similar position recently. Do I thank people after the point at which my contract has changed and I have officially become a professor, which actually happened on the 1st of August? Even though...
Takes a while.
I think it's because,
I mean, it's not an easy word to spell, professor, is it? Like
yeah.
It's like how many S's?
It's the S's and F's that always get me. One F, 2 S's, it turns out.
Yeah.
For those of you who were uncertain. For the longest time, I would just write prof, full stop, and just pretend I was abbreviating it because I was lazy, not because I was ignorant.
I seriously feel like you're trolling me right now.
Oh, really? I mean, I'm not, but that's because I'm not in competition with you. Now I'm trolling.
I think by definition, trolling, you don't have to be. In fact, the whole point of it is someone not. Anyway.
I think I want to get better at saying thank you to people. Yeah, because she is. Yeah, maybe I need to just take lessons off her.
Oh, it's just the way she does it as well. It's just I don't even know how to describe it. It's also, I think there's something I think after I moved to the UK, there's something slightly un-English about it because of the directness of it, and also I always think of it as slightly stark, and I mean that in the it's like sort of surprising that it seems to come out of nowhere. Not, of course, because there's a genuine reason to be thanked in whatever circumstances, but it's the transparent sincerity of it, which is extraordinary.
We're going to have to change this podcast's title to "We Like Bob."
Yes, we should just you could do a couple of recordings of her saying thank you, so people would get a little taste of it. I'm sure they'd love that, and I'm sure Bob will never do that.
Well, she never will, because she never thanks people when it's not. She doesn't do lip service. That is something I find quite interesting. But here's a thing that she can't do: she can say thank you really well, but she can't say sorry.
Wow!
Oh.
Talking about nice forehand, and then out comes the backhand.
Oh, that's a conversation for another day. But then apparently, and by apparently I mean this is a true story, I get slighted very, very easily, and the slightest thing I think requires an apology.
Oh, that's the other side of that particular record, is it? That's the B side.
Well, I think probably, if I'm honest, Simon, that's the A side.
Oh, how easily slighted you are.
Yeah,
and on the flip side is.
And here's the weird thing, I think I'm only really easily slighted inside this house from that person.
Oh, let's not go there.
It's in.
What is? Please explain that. I mean, I totally understand. Why is it that we do that to ourselves?
Why do we hold the people that we love the most to a higher standard than anybody else?
Fuck that shit.
I know, it's ridiculous. Do you do it as well?
No.
For anybody who needs translation from Simon into English, that no was definitely a yes.
Of course I don't, Lee Miller. Of course I don't. What a silly question.
Hang about, I'm getting a Morse code message. This is from Lil. It's a definite yes.
What listeners don't know is that we actually have a live feed that people can listen to this conversation live. They have to pay for it.
Yeah,
and,
which is why which is why only Lil and Bob listen, because they actually get the free view.
Exactly, and yes, that's no, it's true. It's a very odd. I think it's probably fundamental that it probably happens in almost all relationships.
Is it? I think it's to do with the fact that these are the people that can push your buttons the most easily, and therefore, they're the ones that you're just more sensitized to responses from. I know that there are things that are not slights that sometimes can wound me, because I just think, but that shouldn't happen because Bob's the perfect, and she, and nothing has happened. It is just, I'm hungry, or I'm tired, or the dog's dribbled on the new car.
Why did you say it like that? What do you mean?
Exactly. It's like, yeah. I have to say,
I was just imagining that that's you. It wasn't me. Does
I?
I actually think I disagree. I think it's actually, or maybe it's that and what I'm about to say, which is that it's because that relationship matters more than all the others.
Yeah.
That the stakes are higher.
I'm not sure if it's because the stakes are higher, or if it's just, I think I feel more, and I'm going to use a word that I really don't like, but I'm going to use it anyway. I feel more authentically myself with her than I do with anyone else. Maybe even more than when I'm by myself.
What is the word? What's wrong with saying the word feel, by the way?
It was authentic that I don't like.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a problem with the word feel. I struggle with the word authentic because it gets bandied about a little bit too much, and it becomes like it becomes almost like an excuse for bad behaviour. I'm being my authentic self. It's like, oh no, you're just being obnoxious and rude, and you're not caring about other people's feelings in this moment.
So let's not get distracted by the word authentic, especially coming from someone who actually practices that thing called authentic movement. Yeah, and of course it's a name it's basically stuck with the name.
Yeah.
It's just badly titled. We did get sidetracked by the fucking word, but that's very interesting what you said, that you feel more, let's just say yourself, let's drop the word.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
When you're with Bob than you do by yourself.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
How? I don't even know where to begin, because it's really interesting, but how is that the case? Because clearly you're saying you have many selves.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then I'll ask the question. It's not that you like that self, that version of yourself more than the others?
It might be partly that. It might be partly that I like the... Actually, no, I don't think I like that version of myself more, because I think that version of myself can be more venal, it can be crueler, it can be more thoughtless, it can be lazier, but it also can be more loving, it can be more open, it can be more supportive, it can be more kind. It feels more rounded. The version of myself which I perform with my colleagues is much more...
like templatey or cookie cutter.
I think I'm being honest. I think I'm being myself, but I am almost always, and I think this is an appropriate thing to be doing in a professional context, I am modifying and moderating my behaviour to ensure that I am accounting for other people's needs.
Yeah, because the toddlering thing really would have to stop at work, wouldn't it?
I got a new pair of shorts for my birthday, and I was on a Teams
You
call.
immediately had to take them off.
I did, because I was on a Teams call with my colleagues, and they said, "What did you get for your birthday?" I said, "I got a pair of shorts." And I went, "Oh, what do they look like?" And I realised I couldn't make the camera pan down, so I just took my shorts off and showed them. And the two colleagues I was in the meeting with went, "Have you just taken your shorts off?" I was like, "You can't see that I've taken my shorts off." They went, "No, but we saw you
they
bend
know.
down and then stand
And they
up with a pair
know.
of shorts in your hand." I was like, "Yeah, but I'm not showing you my underwear. I'm showing you the shorts that I got for my birthday." And they thought it was the weirdest and also the most Lee thing to do, to go, "Oh, here are my shorts. I'll show you."
Yes, you're really, really modifying. You're really modifying your behaviour at work, aren't you?